Welcome to Designer Discussions with Jason, Maria, and Miriam. Today, Maria is going to talk to us about the top 2025 home design trends.
Welcome to Designer Discussions Podcast with
Miriam,
Maria,
and Jason. Tune in each week where we discuss marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
today we're going to talk about home design trends based on the 2025 ASID trend report. Being a member of ASID, you have access to this full, complete trend report that was done by McKinsey. And if you have any curiosity about it and you're not an ASID member, it is for sale on their site. And if you really like this type of content, I highly recommend purchasing this document to look at it. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at it today and talk about from a pulled back perspective about how this is going to impact home design and remodeling trends for homes. We aren't going to cover a lot of it, has a lot more information about generational trends, income reports, and office design, right? So, but we're going to cut it down. We're going to make it interesting for you to cover, to understand, because we thought a lot of this information was very helpful. So, first thing that we noticed is that wellness, sustainability, and the use of technology is still very strong in coming into home design. And more importantly, I think we are going to talk more about what is motivating people to make changes to their home, what is motivating people to seek out better solutions for themselves. And I think you probably already have some ideas on what some of that stuff would be. So, the whole gray and white palette cleansing that happened in design is coming to an end. And I know almost everybody is tired of farmhouse modern. And what people are looking for is not to take away and minimalize anymore. They're looking to enrich their lives within having more complex, more interesting spaces. And one of the ways that people are seeking that out is through wellness design concepts. And one of the big things right now about wellness is making sure you're getting good sleep. You're getting a lot of sleep and understanding how everything you come in contact with during the day helps to impact the quality of your sleep. So when people are creating designs, they want to hear about why layered lighting is important and how to properly use your layered lighting in your house, right? Why your drapes need to be blackout, why you need to have table lamps, why overhead lighting is more for utilitarian spaces and cleaning. We all already know that, but we don't understand how to engage it with the conversation about the wellness of sleep patterns and what, as interior designers, we do can improve that. Plants are still a big deal. You know, people want to feel like they're in an environment that's natural, and they want to have plants in their spaces to improve air quality and to add interest. And it's real plants. It's not your faux plants. And people are also looking to dial in some of the sensory stimulation that comes from the open concept house and having like kitchen spaces that are closed off or dining room spaces that are closed off from the living room spaces so that they can literally have different types of spaces and volumes to work within, right? Volume as in space and volume as in sound. People are really seeking to have a little bit more peace and control over what is stimulating them. However, it's not through visuals, it's more through actual sound and lighting. Adjustable spaces, this is going to tie into lighting and to auditory stimulation. People are looking at finding ways to include kind of like panels that could create walls, close off a space, open up a space. So these are um, like in an apartment where you might have doors where they could open up and your space could be used as a larger room, or you can close those off and have two completely different spaces. So once again, people are wanting to kind of carve out quiet spaces in their homes and how they live. And this is even happening in work, right? People are wanting to be able to take a phone call and not have to be loud for everybody else in their space. It's a lot of why people at home might have multiple people watching a different TV show with headphones on different screens and not like one large TV that's really loud. So the way that volume is actually coming into play to try to help people in the way that they are intentionally trying to create peace. There is going to be multi-generational living. Homes are incredibly expensive and they're becoming harder and harder to get into. So we expect to see trends moving towards having additional apartments for family members. Maybe that family member is out of college or that person is no longer needing a full-time home and needs just additional assistance. So that is going to become increasingly more important in home design. And people also are seeking, you're going to see this more than a few times in this story about what the trend is going towards, is that the generation that grew up with COVID and that they were sequestered and having to learn online and interact with people online are seeking community with a lot of what they can in their life. So this is seeking more communal spaces, living in places like apartments with great, strong interactions amongst people and having community around them. And so this is becoming increasingly more important. People aren't wanting to go disappear into their own spaces. They're wanting to sit amongst others, meet new people, and have opportunities to do that. And that is something that is you'll see becomes more popular right now because the kids that were graduating high school and starting college were during COVID. They are now in the workforce. They are now moving into their own apartments. They're no longer living at home. Sustainability. This is one of my favorites. I absolutely love that the trend is moving more sustainable, vintage, antique, upcycled items, reuse of product in spaces. This I know has been going on for a long time, but I still think there was a lot of that minimalist quick fix stuff, and antiques and vintage really didn't fit into that aesthetic and that vibe. And so the trend is actually moving more towards warm woods and browns. So mid-century modern is becoming increasingly more valuable and more inspirational towards home design, which means we get to reuse products that were in the past and had been undervalued previously because of the minimalistic, white, fluffy, rounded home aesthetic. I think they called that Japandi or and wabi sabi, and that clean concrete vibe is definitely sliding away. And now you can pull out stuff from your family members and reuse it. And they hold up better than your IKEA products. People are starting to understand that climate change impacts how you get to live. And I think more than anything, this recent fire in California really impacted how people are going to see what is valuable to you and how can you protect it. There are a couple of homes that were built with fire prevention in place that did survive this devastating fire. And the older homes that didn't have that type of fire prevention in the design of the structure suffered during this firestorm the worst. So people are very interested in making sure that when they have their house built, that they are preparing for heat, that they are preparing for higher rains, more flooding, and all of this extreme weather. So you're seeing in Florida, insurance prices are going up really high. And so people are lifting their homes up so that they don't flood again, because insurance is going to become so expensive that it's not cost effective for the replacement when something could be flooding yearly at this point, right? So resilience in home is a strong talking point, more interest in that. I live in Austin, Texas, and I recently had a client tell me that their neighborhood specifically, very high end, very nice homes, but kind of out removed from the urban part of Austin, was told we cannot guarantee water in an emergency. So could you imagine having a multi-million-dollar house that you paid probably $1 million for the lot alone, and your neighborhood association saying we can't guarantee the water? And how does your insurance reflect on that, right? But keep in mind, you can Google it. There are fire safety solutions for homes that don't have to involve water. So definitely start learning more about these solutions so that you can have this in conversations with people. It's super important. Smart homes are still going to keep going. I am not a big fan of having speak to it do information for you within your home. I like to tech down when it comes to how I live. However, anything that improves accessibility to a person helps everyone. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if a door weighs less and it opens easier. It doesn't matter if the toilet stall is bigger in a house. Those things that improve accessibility actually improve everybody's lifestyle. And that is part of why these sensory experiences are important. If you find the right ones to implement for you, it improves everybody else's life around you. And some of these voice controlled tools will help improve your experience in a home. And that is for you to decide how you want to implement that. And under the concept of aesthetics, materials, luxury is actually changing. And I thought this was kind of an interesting concept, but luxury isn't about all of the stuff. It's not about the gigantic closet just filled with stuff. And that some examples of excess are actually not reflective of what society is embracing moving forward. People are wanting to have higher sustainability, things that hold up for a long time, one of a kind, and handcrafted. Those things are considered more of a luxury item moving forward than items that are designer, that you're buying to exhibit wealth and consumerism. People are embracing bold materials and combinations. Yay! Finally, yes, we have stepped away from everybody needing to have like the simplest, most homogeneous experiences. Those dramatic veined stones, yes, that's going to keep coming around. People absolutely love that. Greens, blacks, deeper colors are what are on the forefront. Metal accents are the polished nickel coming back, dark nickel, the blacks, and the brass is staying strong. And this one I thought was really interesting, but I did notice this when I was in the Chicago market. Mirrored black, mirrored backsplashes. I know. I mean, I was in a kitchen that was beautiful. It was a Christopher Peacock kitchen, and the whole kitchen had a mirror backsplash. And I stood next to a couple of other designers, and we were all like, do we really want to watch ourselves cook? Like, is that where we're going with this? But I think it's the idea of having these spaces that when they're clean, they seem like they never end. And if you're sitting down and you're looking into a kitchen and you're kind of visually lined up with the backsplash, seeing kind of into your space and adding that extra depth of volume is kind of the direction it's going. So even though I'm going to say people want cleanability, that is actually something to take into consideration. Darker, moodier colors, your plums, taupes, brown and terracotta, green undertones, and they've shifted away from all of our white minimalism for richer and warmer tones. You are going to see in fashion that you're going to start seeing black less and more browns, more brown handbags, brown belts, brown shoes. You may not have realized that they literally went away until now that they're coming back. But there was a moment in time when finding a brown handbag was difficult, and it's been a very recent time for us. So browns, suedes, leathers expect to have more of those like smoking room kind of feels. How are people using their home, and is it changing? Yes. One of the things that they are predicting is that you're going to see more efficient European style kitchens instead of really big, bulky with lots of appliances. Your walk-in pantry is becoming more popular because you want it to have it designed for storage habits, creating flexibility amongst food, visuals, visual cues for you in understanding what you have and what you need to buy. So once again, pantries are going to keep going. There is a seeking of happiness and joy worked throughout the design of homes, color, playful shapes, and elements that kind of tell a story to someone. And because we have a community of people who went through COVID during a important time of their life, they are very conscious about their mental health and what their environments are doing for them, and that they are looking for relaxation, cozy corners, that layered lighting feel. And once again, flexible home spaces that could be used for multiple purposes. One thing when it comes to work environment, since we are all usually a small business, is that if you were hiring someone from this generation that's now coming out of college, they want mentoring. They want one-on-one. They absolutely want to be in the office, and they want to have a pleasant, happy experience working in the office. That's something that they're truly looking for, and that is something that we should consider providing support for so that we can have access to better employees. Final thought on home design. Builders are focusing now not on the biggest, most fabulous homes, but finding opportunities to buy larger development style land with many first-time homes on it, because that's the market that's missing. Your urban homes have turned into larger McMansions, become less available for the younger communities that want to live in town. So if they're having to move outside of town, they want to have community-driven first-time home, low-maintenance homes. So if you're thinking about some words that would define our 2025 trends, it's meaning, longevity, and adaptability. And that you're going to see even more drive towards sustainability, smart design, and you're going to get these beautiful rich color palettes. So these are all things that you can take into consideration, have as part of your storytelling about what kind of design you provide to people, and also creating interesting conversations with people and an awareness around the world that we're working in today. So if you want to get this report, it is on the ASID website.
Well, thanks so much, Maria, for this really interesting information. I hope a lot of people are going to check out the ASID report. And we will all see you back here for the next episode of Designer Discussions in 2 weeks.
Did you know it takes 17 to 20 touch points before your potential clients recognize who you are? Is your business the one that they find first when they are looking? If not, there's a solution. The Designer Discussions Academy membership with your Designer Discussions podcast host are your personal coaches. With weekly live sessions, an exclusive community, practical resources, and expert guidance, we're here to simplify your marketing and boost your business. Sign up at designerdiscussions.com or follow the link in the show notes. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.